Now, so I've got my columns in place there. There are the slopey ones and there's the vertical ones. Now, it's a couple of decisions I need to make here. Um, so you can see now roughly the position of those beams, of those columns and foundations. And so I want them exposed on the inside. And this piece of solid wall here and here, if I bring out this is our 3D here. So this is the area we're talking about. So there's that piece of solid wall across there, and then there's the roof here. You can see there's quite a large overhang on that roof as well, which is uh, nice, but in terms of supporting it structurally, we might need to alter a few things here. Right. So I'm kind of thinking that particularly say for these two uh, columns here, uh, I'm wondering now would I put them in behind the curtain walling, or would I put them in behind the solid piece of wall here? Whichever way I do that, they're probably not in the right position. Those columns should probably move into the building a little bit more. And also these ones here as well. If I decide to use those ones would probably need to be inside of the curtain walling at this point here. And that one there, which is I think that's a ducting system, that's a service system for those toilets. So I might move those so that they're in position here as well. Now, if I've done this correctly, what I should be able to do then is just move the grid line. But I'm going to put a dimension in here and let's see what we've got here. So we've 8.6. All right. So I'm going to select that grid line, and using my arrow keys here, I want to move these in about 300, I'd say. So there's 100 to 300. All right. Okay. And you can see because they're on the grid line, they've all moved in. All right. Now that's probably not bad. So I'm going to do the same here with this grid line now. I'm going to 1, 2, no, okay. So I picked the wrong grid line here, I think. Okay. Again, I just need to make sure that they're connected to that. And if they're not, then if they're not connected to the grid, they won't move. The grid, it seemed to be that the grid was moving with uh, the filled region there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. So here's a crossing box. Again, filter, very handy. We'll check none. We'll just check these three here. Okay, apply. Okay. And then I'll add the grid line to that. Now, if I move across 100, 200, 300. All right, now you can see that they're just about coming outside of that there. Let's go down and check these ones. Still there. No, so another 100, I think. Yeah, we'll shift that across. Okay. Now, so we're inside the glazing there. We're outside of that service cavity, and outside of that wall there. So I think that's not bad. I'm going to leave that. And now I'm happy with that. That's my columns placed so that they will be exposed in the atrium area there. All right. Now, next thing that we need to do is put in the roof. So I'm going to be putting in a roof that will be coming out. It'll be on that grid line or just be front of that grid line up around here. I'm going to extend it out there. I'm going to put an overhang of about 1500 mil, 1.5 meters out around on this side, and not so much on that side there. We will have to bring it out in order to probably accommodate a gutter or something like that. We're not going to get that clean line. We were never going to get that clean line because you can see it's sloping down here. So we're going to have to incorporate a secret gutter in here, which means probably either oversailing the wall here, um, or bringing the wall up in kind of a parapet style just to the front here. So that's a kind of design decision that you guys will need to make what way you want to go about it. I haven't decided what way I'm going to go about it yet, but I'm going to go into my south elevation here. Okay. Versus the north elevation that I want. North elevation. Okay, there's my 2 degrees. Maybe it's the west, is it? Okay. So that's a very slight, yeah, it is 2 degrees there. So what I want to do is create a slope for the roof. In order to do that, I'm going to use reference planes. Now, reference planes are going to be your friend in this project. I can guarantee you that. And I'd much prefer you to be drawing reference plane than creating new levels. Only create a level where you need a floor plan off it. Otherwise, it's going to be a reference plane. So I'm going to take it from that point there. And you can see I get my angles here. So I'm going to do this at maybe around a 6 degrees 6 degree slope, something like that. I'm going to extend that out there, pull that out there, and I'm going to give this a name. And I'm going to call this zone 1 roof, and I'll put in a US there to say that is the underside of that roof. Now, so I've got that. Now, what I want to do is extend these up here like that. So there's a couple of ways we go about it. Do it this way. All these choices that we have to make. Excuse me a second, I'm going to sneeze. And sorry. We could create a slope in the roof itself. But the way I'm thinking about this is that I'm thinking of using a joist style here, where it's a posi joist or timber joists or flitch beams or something like that. So I'm going to slope from here down to there. So I'll probably have a beam, a timber beam running the whole way across here, all the way around, something like that, which will help in terms of of the structure. And then in between, I'm going to do a beam system with maybe 225 by 50 joists. And I think I'd like to have those joists exposed in the atrium as well. So on top of that, then I'm going to create a roof system, an insulated roof system, and I'm going to probably go for a zinc finish on this as well. So that's my thinking. Yours might be kind of different, different to mine. So if I'm going to create the slope with the joists, then I need to raise up each of these columns here to meet that one there. Now, so what I can do is I'm going to pull this one up, right? Till it gets up to about there. It's telling me it's 817.9. I don't want that. I just want to, I'm going to do this 820. All right. 820 there. Now, I go into each of these, pick that one, go back to the north. And again, all I need to do now is change the figure here, 820. Okay, back in there, and we'll do this one here. And again, it is 820. And one more time. In fact, I'll probably even do it here. Look. Okay, it saves me going backwards and forwards. Now, so there's that. So we're talking about 6 degrees, something like that, from there to there. Now, what's the next thing to do? Next thing to do is probably put in beams. So I wouldn't be surprised if, and again, I'm just thinking of ways that we can structure this. So using again that type of a split plate joint or something like that. I don't think I'd sit the beam on top. I think I'll run the beams in between each of those there, and the same across here, and then a beam in between here. I'll try and keep them at that kind of level. So I'm back in here now. So I want to run a beam, So I'm into my structure and its beam, and I don't think I've got a glulam beam in here. So I'm going to go into load family, into the UK, and down to structural framing, wood. So glulam 2, let's see if it'll allow me to bring these in. It will. Okay. So we'll do an edit type, we'll duplicate, and these will be 300 by 300. Okay, and just put in a 2 B for a beam, I think we'll put in there. So 300. Okay, now, so we're going to run this beam from there. Okay. Now you can see that's come in very neatly on the underside there as well. And so we could do a bracket or a split or something, some type of a connection in there. Let's have a look at this in 3D. Okay. And I said, I'm not going to run them through all of these here. I'm just going to run them on these two ones, particularly on the outside. So I wonder, could I just do a copy here? I wonder would that work? So get a copy point here. Ground level will do that. Okay. So I'm just going to pause this for a second. Yeah, so I went into the atrium level here and I literally just I copy that one from there to there. And now we're going to run another beam, and we'll just see if we can run these through here. Here, straight down. As far as there. Now, let's see. Okay, so that one needs to go up, doesn't it? So it will be the Z820. All right. Now, I think that's pretty good. Okay, so there's those. Now, in between those, I'm going to run a beam system. So here's my beam system there. And let's just check again in terms of the beams. What have I got here? So I'm going to import in another family here, and it is going to be dimension lumber. And I'll be doing something like, they all seem to be very short. Let's try that again. We'll do timber. There's plywood joist there as well, you know, so there's you do have a choice here. 140s, 235s. They're all very thick again. So I'll just pick a yeah, I'm just going to pick that one there. Right, edit, duplicate, and this will be what did I say? 225 by 50. Okay, so 50 by 225. Let's just preview that and make sure it's the right one. Yeah, okay, it's facing the right way. All right, so there's that one is in there. Right, now, if you remember, I'll go back into my atrium roof level here. If you remember how we do beam systems, structure, beam system. So we actually draw these up. So what I'm going to do is, and again, I want to go kind of 1.5 out. Okay. Something like that. Okay. Now, so let's just get a distance in here to get a dimension. We're going to get a dimension in. Let's see. I'll rotate linear. Okay, so if we pick that, let's see if we can. So I told you it's in around 1500. Okay, let's delete that. And we'll do something similar there and up here as well. There you go. Now it'll be something like that there. Then we're going to do a fixed distance, and these are going to be, we'll make them say 450. There's my timber. Okay, and we will do them from, so center justification, we'll do a beginning there, elevation off that. Now, I'll finish this, but I still have to get the slope in this, all right? I still have to get the slope in this, and I want to see if I can get a slope arrow here somewhere. Elevation from level. So we just finish it there for the moment, okay? Oh, let's undo that. I tell you why, because I don't want the type marks to come up. So we'll just hit none for the moment. Okay. Now I'm going to pick the beam system, and I'm looking for a slope arrow that will allow us to put a fall on these, if you know what I mean. So they're kind of like that, but I want these to come up and sit up on top actually of that for starters. Okay, so we want to, oh, here it is here. So there's the beam system. Okay, so we want to lift this up approximately, what was it? Let's just do 300. Oh, not 3,000, 300. Okay, maybe 225 then. Right, now that's that one. And then I should be able to introduce a slope arrow here. And if you just, I'm going to just pause this for a moment and find the slope arrow for you. Okay, I couldn't find a slope arrow for the beam system. I thought there was a system whereby you could introduce a slope arrow to that. There might still be, but it was taking too long and I couldn't find it. So what I did here then was I selected the beam system and I deleted it. I dismantled the beam system, but it left the joists in there for me. If I go into my north elevation, you remember I drew my reference plane there, my zone one underside of roof. So I literally picked a beam, went over to the start level offset, added 970 onto that, and it has more or less brought me in line with the beam. Now, uh, I did a few of those, and then I copied them all the way across there, and that got me my system like so. All right. Now, that is more or less the makeup of the structure of my roof here. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to go into the roof tool. I'm going to put a roof structure in on top of that. And I'll probably have something like 175 insulation. I'll have some type of a board on and building paper or a membrane or something like that, something on which I can lay the zinc. Okay, and then I'll run the zinc all down this way. I'll create a fascia around that as well, and then the walls for the interior side, if you like, will come up to the underside of this beam here. So I'll have to create a fascia in underneath any of the exposed bits there. If you remember, we've got windows running across here as well. So again, I might run the something like a curtain walling system on the front of those beams, of those columns there. So something like that. and then use the column and the beam as the structural support for that. Okay, might need to run a set of beams in across here just to so I can run the columns and so I can run the curtain walling, support the curtain walling that way. Now you might have different ideas as to how to do this. That is my thinking at the moment in terms of that. All right. So if I go back to the ground floor plan, so I've got my columns and beams kind of sorted out for this area here. And yes, I'm going to have a couple of exposed columns here and here and there, and that's just my choice to do that. So the next bit I'm going to look at is this central piece here, and it all depends on what your strategy is for that. So you could go very similar. You could go columns and beams across here with joists in between, or again, the CLT panels or something along those lines. I'll have a little think about that as to how I'm going to go about creating that. But it is all going to be based off these ones here. Probably the last thing that I should do on this video here is run the ground beams. I'm going to run ground beams in between here as well. So let's get in and do that. I'll go into architecture wall. We go to structural walls here, and I'll take something like this one here. There's a 300 exterior. I want a foundation one though. I want a foundation wall, an FND foundation. I don't see one there now. See lots. Oh, here's the retaining one. Right. So I'll take that one. So it's 300 concrete. I'll go from the ground level to the ground level, and I'll put in a minus figure of 1200 here just for the moment. See how that works out. And we'll go center line as well. All right. So let's see how that works out. And we'll draw. So we're going to go from here to there, all the way through here to, again, let's get this centered there. And then all the way back down here. Now, I might just need to adjust that and whatever, but let's take a look. See, let's come in there. And that is roughly how that is looking. So probably needs to be deeper. Okay, so I'm gonna pick them all. Now, so the base offset. The top offset will be minus 225. Okay, and that means I could go down to about 1500 with that, I'd say, something like that. Okay, see the way I'm running them in here? That's spot on. And then this could even be 1600. And we could even make it 1900, something like that. Even make it more. 2-1. Okay, so there would be my kind of ground beams that are running all the way around there as well. Now, something like that, I'm not saying that's exactly it, but it'd be something like that. And you might run ground beams across here, across there, and across there just to stabilize everything as well. And that means you can sit a floor down in on top of that too. Okay, we leave it at that for the moment.